Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summit presentation of the iLeague Season 3 Dota 2 Chinese qualifiers. Here we've got the group stage match between Team BHeart and Energy Pacemaker Gaming. That's right, EP versus BHeart, and we're going to be looking at this two-game series. Both teams are kind of heavily contesting the slots here for the qualifiers through to the next stage of iLeague. And here in the group stage, they're actually two of the more dynamic teams as far as pulling out all the stops, picking up all the new 6.84 heroes as well as some good old classic ones that just carry over some real strength. For example, the bans that you see here, the Queen of Pain and Undying are not surprising at all, but the Phantom Lancer and Centaur are pretty oriented around what the enemies are picking up. Puerty, Pink, is a really good Centaur player, and then Fan is a really good Phantom Lancer player. So kind of back and forth between these two teams. They have some experience with one another, some history as well, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. But thanks once again for tuning in to Beyond the Summit. I'm myself, Blaze, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a solo cast for the next couple of games. So I had solo cast for game 1, 2 or 3, I guess there was 3 games with Gorgon, and now 2 more games of solo cast before I conclude my coverage of iLeague, and I'll turn it over to Cyclops. But yep, anyways, going ahead and finishing up this draft here, we've got this Queen of Pain, Phantom Lancer ban out initially, along with that Undying Centaur as mentioned, but they were picking up the Clockwork, Lina, Vengeful, and Bat Rider openers for the two sides, and then of course the Lion and the Dragonite picked up in the next phase here. So we saw the Shadow Fiend, Ancient Apparition ban, and Night Stalker Invoker ban for pretty obvious reasons. So all those heroes are very powerful and very prevalent in the metagame right now, but seeing the Enchantress picked up does raise some eyebrows. The Vengeful Spirit too, honestly, because Venge Bat Rider, you used to see this opener a lot in the last metagame because of the fact that Venge swap will break down the lasso, will break Flaming Lasso, so you want to get them those two on the same team so that they can't be counterpicked. But in this case, it's more about push, really. It's more about the fact that Venge, Dragonite, and Enchantress can break down towers very quickly once the DK hits 6. They kind of anchor around him, and Enchantress's neutrals taking up some tower hits, and Aura from the Venge enhancing damage, and the Corrosive Breath knocking that tower down. Just a second, one quick message here. So, moving on to the next phase here, they're up against the Enchantress, they know that fact. Are they going to pick up something like the Ursa to deal with the Enchantress through Untouchable? Are they picking up something like the Bristleback where you don't even need to right-click her to deal damage against her? Heavy Burst Nuke, anything along those lines could be pretty good. So, we're going to be looking at this next pickup here and them tapping into their reserve time to figure out how exactly they want to run this. They're probably looking at a support Lina. They, of course, could run 86 as the mid Lina, but I'm not too sure at this point. I will note, though, that 86 has got to be one of the best invokers I've ever seen. He played Wex just a day or two ago and was able to just stomp all over his opponents with it. Like, it really just defined the game 100%, getting that invoker out for him. So it's a very respectable ban for the phase 2, and it looks like he's going to be playing that core Lina, because I mean, although you can still pick up a mid for your last pick up against the Dragonite here, I think the Lina is going to suffice, and Lion Juggernaut are really more oriented around a different kind of timing, I guess I would say. Like, the ultimates, essentially, you want one of those ultimates to come out a little bit sooner than the others, and Lina, like, essentially, the way I look at it is if you both have a dual support of Lion Lina, you're going to have a very delayed power spike. You're still going to have that spike with Omni Slash, Ball, with the Laguna Blade, and with the Finger of Death, but all three of them kind of running at the delayed tempo, you're not really going to be able to like hit those big spikes the way you would with a core Juggernaut and core Lina, where they each get that big boost forward, and then you get that secondary boost later on with the Lion. It's really just a timing thing, though. It really doesn't matter too much, and it comes down to preference. They still definitely could run the support Lina. I just think they prefer to put 86 on it in the mid lane here, so they can pick up something a little bit different. Not going to be the support Night Stalker, though. That's probably one of their most common support pickups in last patch and in this one, and it's going to be banned out in phase 2. Finally banning out the Tinker here. A little interesting, but just making sure that they manage against all the little things that would cause them some difficulty. So they go ahead and take that off the table. I'm actually curious if Energy Pacemaker wants to run the Ursa here. I think Ursa would be really good in the hands of EP. They've got some good lockdown, some good setup. They've got some good momentum. They've got the Enchantress. So obvious synergies there, and yeah, the Slayer gets banned out, but I could see an Ursa coming out for EP easily here in the hands of Fan. We'll have to see, though. I mean, obviously, you're up against a couple of key disablers. Clockwork is good at locking people down. If he has a Force Staff, a Glow Scepter, or a Blade Mail, he could deal with the Ursa pretty well. Otherwise, yeah, Lina and Lion are going to have to be on point with their stuns. Spirit Breaker's still in the pool, but I think they're looking for kind of a one-position carry at this point, so I think they're more thinking along the lines of, yeah, that Ursa. Lycan is actually really good here. I actually think Lycan might be even better than any of the aforementioned pickups, but they didn't ban Magnus, so there can be some problems with that. Yeah, if it was a support Lina and a mid Magnus, it would be a superior draft to Energy Pacemaker if they pick up the Lycan here. But since I think 86 is running the Lina in the mid, it'd probably be fine to pick up the Lycan, and the Magnus, it would just probably be a support. But similar to the Lycan, we're going to see the Lone Druid here. Less about spawning a bunch of summons. We're probably not going to see like wolves on top of Necronomicons. Just going to be the one big bear knocking down the towers, and I think this is a really good pick. Great tempo for this draft. You're getting the aura up on the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to be able to knock down a couple of Tier 1 towers early on. That'll get Batrider's Blink Dagger, and they'll turn that into kill momentum. The one thing they really need to work on, though, is survivability. Who is going to get the items that make the entire team tanky? Because if they don't get some mech on somebody, then suddenly the Lina, the Lion, and Juggernaut are just going to be able to start every fight by killing off 2 people. And the last pickup is actually going to be a Gondar. So Bounty Hunter is going to be hitting the field here, and we'll have to see exactly what he has in store for us. But Shure is going to be running that one, and he's going to be roaming around the map pretty actively pretty early. So 86 is on the core Lina, no tally start, and looking for the Bounty Rune. So I'll go ahead and introduce the rosters as best I know them. Energy Pacemaker here on the Radiant side. I would say they're a little bit favored in my mind with this draft and with this lineup, and let's go ahead and take a look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the Batrider, going to be running on the offlane boots first. Old Chicken is the Dragonite, going to be going to the mid lane looking for a Bounty Rune to get his bottle out faster. Then we're going to be looking at Lei, the Vengeful Spirit. He is going to be running in a supportive role along with the Enchantress, who's going to be a little bit more jungle oriented, and that's why the Bounty Hunter pick is strong here. Actually, the jungle emphasis for Enchantress, she's very clearly going to be emphasizing dominating the neutral creeps and farming up and getting experience from that territory. And if the Bounty Hunter just roams around and doesn't get caught out by the dust, then he's actually just going to be able to steal creeps away from the Enchantress with last hits and constantly take away at least half experience. So pretty good there. Beyond that, we do see Fan is going to be running on that Lone Druid, as would be expected. And that's going to be... Where is his bear anyways? I'm actually having trouble finding it with my current icons. There it is. It's tiny. Like, my minimap changes don't change the Spirit Bear, and that's probably the only drawback to it. But, yeah, we're going to see the Spirit Bear. Huh, they actually added that buff detail. They didn't have that before. Anyways, Orb of Venom and Stout Shield on the Spirit Bear. And I should change my overlay out since I am solo casting now. Gorgon's just very quiet, guys. Don't worry about it. Anyways, let's look over at the side of Braveheart. We did get the Bounty Runes as expected on Lina and on Dragonite. So we've got Shure here stalking up the Enchantress, who of course won't have level 1 untouchable, so he'll just go ahead and block her camp to start things off. And without, if this was like a Mud Golem spawn or a Satyr spawn or a Wolf spawn, that wouldn't be very good. But since it's a Centaur spawn, it looks out pretty well. And actually a nice move from Shure here, looking for what is inevitably going to be a bottle pickup for the Dragonite. He started off with so few items and he got the Bounty Rune, so they got to know the bottle's coming, but unfortunately for the Bounty Hunter, he leaves before that courier comes through. He thought that he might be caught out when he's walking through Invis, Still looking to at least snipe the courier, though he won't be delaying the bottle. So good pickup here, grabbing the last hit on the courier and getting gold for his entire team, as well as delaying that respawn. Enchantress, on the other hand, making her move up here. She had the Centaur. That Centaur is out in the mid lane, zoning out the Lina a little bit. And in the meantime, Enchantress herself is in the Dire jungle. So pretty interesting movement from her. Anyways, we've got Puerti on the Juggernaut here. He's going to be in the safe lane farm. Dog 7's going to be running the clockwork in the off lane. That, of course, leaves 86 on the mid Lina. So we're talking about Sure on the support bounty hunter. And I'm going to go ahead and just look over here real quick to see if I can recall this guy's name. Because I definitely know that at one point it was clear, but now I'm not too sure.
Invisibility.
Kodo apparently is his name. I don't know if that's accurate, so I'll just go with Lion. That's his name. Alright, so we've got old chicken here dueling it out with 86 on the mid. If you look at last hits, you're going to see that he is doing okay at 8-1. Lina's doing a little bit better at 9-5. She's going to get her bottle out now with the Null Talisman on top of that. As far as early creep jacking play, we see Enchantress at level 2, Bounty Hunter roaming against him only at level 1, so didn't steal much experience. Does cancel Clarity, but other than that, the only thing that Sure's really accomplished this game is killing off the courier. Now gonna get caught out by the dust, the Hellbear Smasher. This could be first blood. Just Enchantress versus the Bounty Hunter. He has a lot of armor. One more right click will come through, but the enchant slows him down, and that will be his death. Oh man. That kind of nullifies everything he meant to accomplish this game, giving the first blood to the Enchantress. She's going to have a ton of gold momentum here in this game. See an aggressive stance from Dog 7 here. He's just trying to do what he can on the off lane with the Cogs as well as the Rocket Flare available. He's going to be Sure stalking up the Venge and Lone Druid, seeing what he can do against them. But until he gets level 2, the gank presence is quite minimal. Up top, Batrider a little bit too close to the Juggernaut. He's going to spin right on top of the Hex and Earth Spike, and Batrider is going to have to head for the trees, barely living with 180 HP. Luckily, he does have those boots and will be able to speed himself away. But unfortunately, he really doesn't have much more he can do to the Juggernaut to harass him back and suppress his farm. This guy's at 10 Magic Stick charges, pops the Healing Ward, and suddenly the Batrider with, you know, a half HP and mana can't do anything. And A6 is going to be covering up the bottom rune here for the 4-minute spawn and getting a magic wand out to himself pretty early on against the Dragonite. Interesting. Lei going to be grabbing up the banner rune. Well, he's trying to cover it up, but I don't know if that'll actually work out in their favor. Old chicken. Okay, that works out. Dust is on the Venge. That's the reason why. See, I was expecting it essentially just to be Bounty Hunter grabbing the bounty rune before the Dragonite could, but because they moved Dust over to the Vengeful Spirit here, they made sure that there's no way that he feels safe in doing that. And they're going to Dust, they're going to Missile, they're going to look for the Chain Stun here with the Enchant and the War Stomp, and Sure should be going down. Right clicks coming through, the last ones will finish him off, and that's going to be 2 deaths against him. Now there was another kill. Lina did kill off the Dragonite earlier, so still, I mean, overall, really good for EP, but 86 finding his opportunity to kill without Laguna Blade is actually a feat in of itself. We're going to see a dive coming in from the Batrider here. The bottle regened him up, so he felt confident in this play, but honestly, other than forcing the spin, there's not much you can do here. Fan on the bottom lane, getting 28 last hits, 13 denies. Really good control with this Spirit Bear. He's going to get a Hand of Midas out really quickly on this hero, and that's going to allow him to build up a lot faster towards any critical levels. Level 11 is pretty important for the Lone Druid, but any levels in general are going to help him build up his bear faster. Phase Boots out on the Juggernaut and regular Boots out for the Lion. Good stuff for the top lane. They should be able to dodge out ganks a little bit easier from this Enchantress, since the neutral creep she enchants has it kind of, you know, the limited movement speed. They don't scale based on you know, the boots on the hero or anything. So, Clockwork makes his way back down bottom. He is forced back pretty hardcore and is going to be just making a quick trip to the fountain before making his way back out to the lane. So, a lot of magic wands coming out from both sides here. Very active item pickups here. As we do see a lot of spells being cast. I mean, the Sticky Napalm is a pretty spammable one. Enchantress has her creeps, which of course give her extra spells to throw out there that give stick charges. And then we're seeing a few picked up on the Radiant side as well. Yeah, there's actually a ghost enchanted by this Enchantress, and she's actually scouting around with it. Has this kind of Orb of Venom, Scotty type slowing effect with the attack. And that would slow Lion down 20% as he tries to evade, and the Radiant see him. They're going to just be able to go right on top of him, no problem. With the Wave of Terror, the Napalm, and now the Ghost, there's no way Lion gets out. However, 86 looking to turn it around. Doesn't hit with the stun, though, and the Batrider's out of Laguna range. So we're going to see a bit of a freeze up here. It looks like it's on everybody. And that's very unfortunate for... Okay, so everybody's getting this lag spike, and... It's just going to be straight up the Laguna Blade going out onto the Vengeful Spirit. Like, I can't really visually see this, but essentially, although it looks like Venge is TPing, we can clearly see Venge has died. And so the Laguna Blade did go through as the last command issued before the lag spike came through, and it works out. I was about to say that was really unfortunate for 86, because the lag would likely make him miss the kill, because the TP would go the way it was supposed to. But apparently the command came out just in time, so the lag doesn't affect anything. 86 gets the kill that he was... deserving. So he makes the rotation up top. He can't save the Lion. Does get a return kill on the Venge, and it makes it 3-2. So we're going to be seeing movement across the map here. Lion trying to combo up with 86 a little bit. One Hex, and Old Chicken's going to be in a really bad spot. Does have a decent HP pool, but even without the Finger or the Laguna to worry about, he is under a lot of pressure just from the chain stun. But we're going to see a smoke play coming out here. No blink or anything, but just trying to run up and get a stun. If they connect with any stun onto this Lina, it could be a pretty sure kill. And they're going to go for a long range wraparound here to try to make it happen. Could dive past the tower too, could go a loop around this way, depending on how they want to make it happen. But for now, the smoke breaks past the tree line, and Batrider just looking, getting the clear vision out, not showing himself just yet. And in the meantime, Old Chicken is pushing heavily on the tower. So we're going to see two-man movement here with the double damage rune. Batrider hijacks the creep wave, is going to clear that out no problem. And meanwhile, Old Chicken with the corrosive breath is burning down this tier 1. 86 wants to go for the deny with this double damage rune. They'll pop the glyph first, though. That might have been a mistake. I think you actually could choose not to glyph the tower and go for the easy deny, but they're going to be able to force them back with the clockwork rotation now, and Puerti has the Omni Slash ready to go. So they right-click down, get the kill onto the Enchantress, and they're going to get the tower deny. No, Enchantress, her Hellbear actually killed the tower. Oh, Hellbear Smasher, you have saved the day, my friend. And although the Enchantress will fall, her will lives on in her enchanted creeps, and they will actually make the trade successful. They force a big rotation, they get the kill on the tower, and they only lose the Enchantress. That's still really good for Energy Pacemaker. And Midas is out for Fan at a great timing here. We see the Blink Dagger is going to be up in 400 gold as well. So Batrider, Lone Druid off to the races here. And the Dragon Knight's not doing too bad either. He got his last hits caught up to 38 and 3. Still about 9 last hits behind the Lina, but he's getting some extra time where the Lina is just doing basic jungle things, and the Dragon Knight can actually catch up more directly. So we're going to see a net worth pull ahead for EP here, and this is going to look really good for them moving into the mid game. They're going to have more money to spend on detection so that the bounty hunter doesn't get away. Sentry and Dust already in play. And he's only level 3, so it's going to be a long time before he can get the track and boost their economy with that extra infusion of cash. Dog 7 here has the cogs available, but if they get the Elder Dragon form stun on him, there's no way he gets out. Fortunately, he does have enough movement speed to get out of there, and he's just going to be fine. So we're going to see them move on to this tier 1 tower, no problem at all. This is what you expect from a Dragon Knight, Lone Druid, Enchantress lineup. Just a huge potential for them to go in for heavy push and take down tier 1 tower after tier 1 tower. With the Enchantress claiming one and them about to demolish the other with the Bear. Battle Cry finishing it off. they're going to be able to pull very far forward in terms of gold, and they're going to be actually able to pick up, I think, a well-timed Radiance, if that's what the Lone Druid wants to look for here. Midas coming out once again. And he doesn't have to micro the Midas back to the Lone Druid anymore to actually get the experience for it. It used to be that you could only get experience from Midases used by the Lone Druid himself, but the one with the Spirit Bear now works just as fine. They fixed that a few patches back. Dog 7 looking for a hookshot play. This could give Bounty Hunter some much needed experience, but who do they find? Some neutral creeps in the way. They're just going to have to go for a hook play with all these creeps in the way, and they're not going to hit it. It's just going to split the wickets here, and although they could go for a little bit of damage, it's instead going to be the Blink Dagger of the Bat Rider that pulls in Dog 7. So he's going to go down quick. Light Strike Ray not going to save him, and that is just going to be another free kill going the way of VP. A lot of things working in their favor right now. 2 tier 1s, an extra kill. And now the Puerti Gink is going to be coming up top and looking for the Lone Druid. Obviously, he'll have +1 on his creeps, but Mask of Madness, Omni Slash. Oh, wow, look at how little damage. If he Battle Cries the Omni Slash, he might be okay. And it's actually going to be maybe a Flame Break to push it back. No Flame Break skilled. Puerti charging fast, but the Mask of Madness is not fast enough. But with the spin, he dispels the napalm, and he phases forward. He's caught in a bad spot here, but at least he got that kill. Now he'll be going down. The Bat Rider will split that gold with both Lone Druid and Drag and Knight. Now there was 2 small changes to in the last patch that made that kill situation a lot more different than it would have been. First of all, the Mask of Madness movement speed was nerfed. Instead of 17%, or instead of 30%, it was 17%. So he wasn't able to chase as well as on Lone Druid. But the other change is that Blade Fury or Magic Community in general does not. Oh no, it's Blade Fury specifically doesn't dispel positive buffs. So Mask of Madness does not get dispelled when he goes for the spin. So by using his Blade Fury, he keeps the Mask of Madness on, but takes the napalm off, and was able to phase boots onto that Lone Druid. So in the end, he still is able to get the kill, and Battle Cry wouldn't have made a difference because it's magical damage. Oh, I guess if he Battle Cried really early, like when the Omni Slash was about to come out, he might have survived. But it's just a nice burst of armor that some people don't think to use in combat scenarios. Dog 7 with the hookshot once again. He wants to start controlling tempo, buying some time for Bounty Hunter to get that track up. But for right now, they've lost all 3 tier 1 towers, and it's really hard to create space when you're under so much pressure. Coming in here, we've got the 3-2-0 build from Venge, actually. She has no skill points in Aura. They do have a Troll, though. The Troll is going to heal them up and give them a Basilius Aura, essentially. Mana regen of 2 for everybody nearby. And the Troll is just going to keep healing and healing and healing. Just whatever he can. It looks like the Spirit Bear is going to be taking the Troll's heals for the most part. So as long as the Lone Druid stays close enough, they're going to be able to get some good damage in from this bear onto the tower. And the Lone Druid is right up here. It's safe and sound with the Battle Cry active. The armor buff giving a lot of durability to this bear. He can just stay on this tower all the live-long day, do some good damage, and bring it down. Tier 2 now down for BraveHeart. They're very heavily on the defensive up against this kind of death ball push. Old Chicken going in with the Glimmer Cape, going with a stun initiation onto 86. He is going to not get hit by the hook shot, despite being a still target, but Laguna plus that Figure of Death, and they finally bring him down with the Janata. Man, he actually almost survived the magic resistance of the Glimmer Cape, but as you can see, they put just enough things into him to actually finish him off. And meanwhile, Fan farms up towards that Radiance, only 600 gold away from the Sacred Relic. So, yeah, some good kills going the way of BraveHeart, committing all their ultimates to make it happen, though, and obviously they've lost a lot in terms of towers. They get the Tier 1 and exchange mid. That's about it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So looking at early gold graph and experience, we're going to see that although EP took us pretty tremendous lead for the early game, all things considered, it does go back down towards equilibrium here as BraveHeart bounced back with a few kills. So good play from them. We'll see where they're going to be going next with this one, but as it stands right now, it's just going to be them kind of trying to find opportunities to make aggressive plays, wait for their ultimates to come off cooldown, and then just go for the big heavy nukes. But as stated, with this Glimmer Cape, even when it's inactive, it provides magic resistance up to 40% now, and then he gets a nice little bonus when he activates it as well. So So we're going to see the Yule's combo come out. Bat Rider going down. Really nice initiation from the Lina. Finds the Yule Scepter, immediately puts it to use for the solo kill. Does cost a bit more mana now at 175, but definitely worthwhile. And the kill enchantress is creep. So I'm actually curious if there's going to be a point in time where we can see this lone druid actually go for the Roshan with the help of the Vengeful Spirit. Most likely he just wants to focus on jungle farm for now, but that Radiance isn't there just yet, and they're going to be looking to gank the bottom lane. Could kill off the bear, which would be a tremendous boon for BraveHeart as they really stifle that Radiance timing. Still, the Ice Armor going to be kept on the bear thanks to the Ogre Frost Mage, and now Fan has it as well. So when they get this buff up from the Battle Cry, he's going to be sitting at so much armor he may never just be impossible to kill. But with that track, with the fact that he's caught inside the cogs, they still might be able to bring him down. Tanky as he is, it's going to be actually the Bat Rider come in and help him out here. Breathe Fire along with the Firefly. Roastin' and Toastin' sure will go down as well, and that's a 3-for-0. But in the meantime, Mask of Madness and the Healing Ward going to town on this Roshan. Quelling Blade helping out with it. Actually, no, it doesn't help on Rosh anymore, which is actually hurting Juggernaut's DPS here, but still able to do it pretty quickly. But they check the pit. Oh, just barely getting it out in time. The lasso. So they get the Aegis onto the Juggernaut, and he's going to back out. They're going to instead push on the tower, say, okay, well, you can take Roche, you can take the Aegis, we'll take another objective with the kills that we've obtained. And going in with the Illusion Rune plus the Red Dragon form, yeah, they're going to take towers, no problem at all. So they clean that up, old chicken. Now making his rotation towards perhaps the mid, but that Dragon form will only be lasting a little bit longer, and he'll just use it to farm the Ancients here. So let's just look at overall item progression. We're going to see Radiance is up for the Lone Druid in just a second here. The Enchantress is going to be working her way towards an Aghanim Scepter. See, she has a Gem True Sight and a Point Booster. And honestly, Blink Force Staff, that's about it. There's not much on the Vengeful Spirit as a 5 position. It doesn't look like there's much on the Lone Druid because his bear is getting everything. Speaking of, bing, Radiance is picked up. So the cool thing about Radiance on Spirit Bear is that you can kind of use it to push out waves even if your Lone Druid isn't there. So you can just kind of go ahead, farm up the creep waves, do the radiating magical damage, and then just recall him back to safety. And that allows you to split push very actively. You split push one lane, you directly pressure another, and BraveHeart are kind of caught in between two different trailed off there. Two different kind of substantial forces continuously pressuring out the lane. There's a word for it that I can't actually think of that's going to bother me, but that's what happens when you sleep for 5.5 hours before some extensive casting. So we're going to see here about 4,000 net worth in favor of EP, but the experience is going a little bit of the way of BraveHeart. They're spreading out a little bit more is the big thing here. They're getting some good kills, they're spreading out more, and that allows them to get more in terms of experience. But EP, they're trying to just kind of take the control of the map, and that way they're going to be able to not only take temporary gold gains with the death of the towers, but they're going to be able to take long-term gold gains by controlling the space with which BraveHeart have to farm. Up top, Juggernaut will be able to take care of that tower pretty quickly, but he decides to instead go for the fight. They're going to go on to Old Chicken, but he just gets forced back here, swapped out, goes for the Glimmer Cape play, and is able to disengage pretty well. Nice Sentry Ward now down, and it's going to be Enchantress falling back. Now the Lion getting lassoed up, going down without really contributing much, but there are tracks everywhere. Any kill is a big one, but Puerti getting stunned out. He will lose his first life, and he doesn't have cooldowns for the second one. He doesn't have the ability to spin out of this entangle, and he's going to go down. Nice root from the bear. It gets resummoned, and they will be able to bring it back for the next push. 50 seconds without the Juggernaut. But the question is, with this man at HP, can they really go high ground? I'm sure they can put 1 or 2 hits into it with the Corrosive Breath. But the bear is going to have a lot resting on his shoulders here, and it's quite dangerous. Lina does not have mana just yet. She's going to be healing back up, going for a right-click build with this Maelstrom, but now's the time to retreat before things get a little bit too dicey, and they just head back. So 5,000 net worth in favor of EP and climbing up towards 7,500. They're going to go for the Pipe of Insight? No, they're actually going to go for a Casual Cloak into a Mechanism pickup for Lei, and we'll see what he can do with it. But for now, Fan, in his true form, or his druid form, rather, he's making his retreat. He's got his bucket. So good. So, Radiant's just going to do its thing, try to farm up the jungle here. Might steal a golem or two, but in general, the idea is just generally for the bear to clear out every camp from the jungle every single minute, just rotating through and kind of taking care of that really quickly. So 7,500, but not much in experience. We're gonna see them kind of look to kind of win it out with the next rose cycle. They don't have to win it out in the next rose cycle. It just makes the game a lot smoother for them. They have a very push-minded lineup, and although they can take it to the late game with Dragon Knight farming up like level 16, you can see that he's really not going for much of a carry build. And I'm just noting now that Glimmer Cape can actually be disassembled. I wasn't sure if that was the case, but it can be disassembled, and that's the game plan for Old Chicken. He buys the Glimmer Cape for now, temporarily, but then he just disassembles it to get his Shadow Amulet and Cloak back, and turns this Sange into a Silver Edge. So I think that's a really smart opener. Gives the Old Chicken a lot of flexibility, gets his magical damage lineup, but we're going to see a lasso out. If not for that Yules, it would be a very easy kill. Still seems to be, but they'll get a rebuttal very, very quickly. Now swapping down. Oh my gosh, they get a great swap onto the Lion. They will keep the Venge alive too. So now going to be the Light Striker Ray onto 2, but the Root coming out into Clockwork. He can't do anything here. Do they have the resummon on the bear? Yes, they do. So although it will give some gold away, 286, it is going to be them just chomping onto this tier 3 tower. So they're going to go ahead, pop the glyph on the Dire side, and we're going to see them put pressure out here directly. Corrosive Breath is going to be bringing this thing down very quickly here. And with the Demolish passive of the bear doing 40% more damage to buildings, this thing's going to go down quick. Melee Rack's going to fall next. Tracks are flying out. They can get a lot of gold if they get any kills in return here, but 86 actually can't micro with the Napalm. Oh no! Whose Force Staff was that? Did he get Force, or did he just run forward? Looks like he just ran forward and then tried to turn back around. He tried to go for the stun, and it's like, oh wait, no, they're not in the position I want him to be, and he tried to fall back, but the sticky Napalm, slowing his turn rate, made it look like he was just kind of floundering there in between the racks. Now we see the hook in, but it might not be ideal. They just force out, and now the impetus strikes from the high ground. The magic missile stun. Dog 7 dropping low, and Old Chicken glimmering through everything. He glimmered through a finger of death, and he's still alive here. Oh my gosh, he lived forever with all those nukes flying at him, and now the Radiance is really taking its toll as the fight gets stretched out. We're going to see Napalm hit on Lion, and that's going to be an ultra kill for the lone Druid here. The Radiant's doing so much work in this fight, Fan. Just so far, it's just so big. They can't kill the bear. They're going to go ahead, earn it up, and suddenly it's going to be 2 lanes of racks instead of 1. They made the right call trying to fight that with the fact they had so many tracks up, and it could have been a good rebound, but on putting all of that damage into the glimmering Dragon Knight, he's able to tank through everything, and suddenly they turn it back around. Amazing sequence of events for EP, and they take game 1 of this 2-game series. Energy Pacemaker run a kind of aggressive, push-oriented draft that can take towers and get kills very actively, very quickly, and that gives them 18-11 at 24 minutes. We'll show the more traditional scoreboard here and just see how it all broke down. The Juggernaut only got 460 GPM, really didn't get off the ground to build up that, it looks like Battle Fury he was looking for. Shadowblade's an option, of course, too. And the Batrider finding 12 assists, 3 kills, very involved this game. And of course that Ultra Kill on the Lone Druid really just cinches the win. Fan played a fantastic Lone Druid, finding 170 last hits in this 24-minute game. The Radiance will work a little bit, but also really good creep control in the laning stage. Very nice micro between him and his bear, and he's able to get it farmed up well enough to push on through and to cinch the win here in game 1. So we're going to be going into game 2 of this 2-game series. Let's see how Energy Pacemaker round out with a different strat and how BraveHeart respond to this one. Anyways, thank you guys once again for tuning in here to Beyond the Summit. Of course, you can check out beyondthesummit.tv to see the coverage hub for all things BTS. I myself am Blaze. If you enjoyed the commentary, it's a little bit of a sleepy cast for me, but you can look me up at twitter.com/blazecasting. Radiance woke me up, so we'll see going into game 2. I'll try to keep the momentum going. See you guys in just a few minutes.